because this is where it starts. Hold on. Defendant Nowak, 37 years of age. All right. And victim mother, Arocho, 31 years of age, were dating for over a year. On 2/27/21 at, I'm going to shrink it down just so I can read it faster. At approximately 0000 hours, defendant Nowak requested Miss Arocha to allow him to take victim TS, 14-year-old, to an after party, quote unquote, in order for him to speak to her and mend the relationship between mother and daughter.
Okay, RGY, we want to get right into this. We want to shout out the Moorish World TV and Tahaka Bey and Inky for putting this out. I believe Polight is guilty of sexual demonic perversion, and I'm going to basically bring it with Moorish law. Okay, chapter 7, verse number 30, they appear righteous but have contracts with the devil. I believe that this man, Polight, is a Mason, and he's a high-level degree Mason and performed a demonic sexual ritual act on this girl. So we're going to jump right into it right here with this first clue that Tahaka Bey brought out, which is he was supposed to be mending a relationship between mother and daughter. That means that this girl don't got a daddy. Because she ain't got a daddy, that means she has been mentally robbed of a knowledge of self. She's lacking something on the inside. Her soul is in desperation for fulfillment that cannot be given by superficial things. And the trust that Polight established with the mother when he was with her was enough to accord him or afford him the right to take her 14-year-old daughter to an after party at 11 o'clock at night. So you got to understand that this is indeed a sign, a fruit on a tree for y'all to pick. Being able to have someone's trust is nothing that money can buy. When you got someone's trust, this is more better than money, reputation, anything in this world.
Defendant Nowak and victim TS responded to Club 11, 29 Northeast 11th Street, Miami, Florida, 33132. Upon arriving, the club was closed. Defendant Nowak and victim TS responded to his hotel room. Defendant Nowak and victim TS, that's the 14-year-old, at 1100 West Avenue, Unit 319, Miami Beach, in order to wait for the new party location.
RGY, okay, so some things that a Satanist would do, right? Allah says in chapter 7:27, I designate the devils to be partners with the treasonous, so that they're human devils. Okay? Some things that will allow you to know when you see a human devil are certain signs, symbols. So like the number 319, the room, equals 13. Anyone who knows the science of numerology knows 13 is Satan's number. Okay? The selection of choice. This is the daughter of a woman that he used to fuck with. So he's fucking with the mom's daughter. This in Moorish law is forbidden. You never fuck with the children of the mother, because once you fuck with the mother, you're playing a guardian role. So the children or the young adults are seeing you as a father figure, and you don't want to fuck that up. But a Satanist will choose these daughters as the selection of choice. That's what a Satanist does. Okay? You're dealing with a 14-year-old grown woman physically, but mentally is a child, right? So it's like a fucking dumb baby who don't know what a middle finger is. It's like a sheep and there go the wolf. You got to look at the atmosphere. You got a celebrity figure with a 14-year-old whose mom he used to fuck. Okay? That's some Masonic shit right there. That's some Freemason Masonic shit. That's what they do. Let's go.
While they were in his hotel room, defendant Nowak provided, let me go one more. Bam. Can I go one more? Yeah. Provided victim TS with numerous alcoholic beverages in which she consumed. Victim TS stated, stop there, Inky. Victim TS stated, that means that the 14-year-old is about to tell the story.
Okay, so now this is also another thing that a Satanist does before he does his sexual ritual. He gets them drunk. Allah says in the Quran that Satan uses the liquor to entice man to do lustful, sick, perverted things. The Arabic term is fawahish. Right? Fawahish is sexual perversion, sexual deviance, sexual demonic rituals. Like masturbating, lesbianism, homosexuality, rape, right? Bestiality, adultery, okay? Talking about fornication, prostitution. These are all forms of sexual deviance, satanic sexual deviance. Even someone sucking your dick is a form of sexual deviance, especially when you have a 14-year-old mentally immature woman. Remember, she's a woman by cod. I did that in my last video. She's a woman by cod. Physically, she is ready, but mentally, she is not. So he's dealing with a sheep, and he's 39 years old, Polight. A Mason chooses the selection of choice, the daughter of a former woman he fucked, who's looking at Polight like a guardian. In room number 13, right? Got the 14-year-old woman drunk. You got to put all that in perspective and see how this is some demonic shit. You got to see how this is some demonic shit right here already cooking. Also taking consideration, this woman is fatherless, got no sexual experience and no behavioral science education. Because the woman ain't got no daddy, of course the woman don't know how to interact with the opposite sex. She doesn't understand behavioral science. You know what I'm saying? Proper manners. The mom is obviously having a problem with the daughter because she wouldn't have called Polight to the aid to be her advisor. So the mother and the daughter already beefing. Calls on the guardian, who is not really the father, to try to mend the relationship. But this is what the mender decided to do. Take a sexually inexperienced, behavioral, immature woman, get her drunk in room 319. You see how this thing is going out? It's like a demonic setup.
I want everybody to let that sink in for a minute. That if you got a 14-year-old daughter, if you got a 14-year-old cousin, niece, significant person in your family, in your friend circle that's a friend or whatever the case may be, imagine this 14-year-old about to tell the police what's about to come up out of this conversation. Here we go. It's a 14-year-old. She stated that defendant Nowak started dancing and touching her inappropriately all over her body, groping her breasts, inner thighs, and buttocks area. Furthermore, victim TS stated that defendant Nowak set her on the bed and pulled his penis up and outside of his shorts.
RGY. So you see, at this point, this is the beginning of the sexual deviant act, the satanic sexual deviant act. The fact that she's fucked up in the head by now, she's drunk, she's inexperienced. This is the man who she once saw as an advisor, as a guardian, right? She's looking at the man with a fucking angelic, you know, like you're God, like. And this is the shit that Polight will say. He's God. So when you appear to a 14-year-old woman who's not mentally developed and you bring these type of things to them, this is a fucked up, you're perverting them. This is actually how Satan tricked Adam and Eve. The nigga perverted Adam and Eve, convinced them that God had no boundaries, right? Saying, oh yeah, God didn't forbid you the fruit of this tree. Like God had no boundaries. So at this point, Polight broke the boundary of a guardian. This young woman is fucked up and mentally just fucked up right now. And this dude is advancing with the touching and now got his dick out. Like, the fuck is this man going through right now? He's going through a demonic possession.
While he grabbed her head and pushed it towards his genital area. Victim TS lost consciousness.
Well, of course she lost consciousness because she's fucked up in the head. She's mentally fucked up. And Allah says in chapter 7, verse number 30, they took the devils as partners, as their God, and called themselves guided. This motherfucker Polight used the name of God to like promote his brand, his scholarship, his imagery. He built up his reputation with the name of God. He built up his, riches and his worldly status with the name of God, calling himself God, calling the black woman God. But they really took the devils because the nigga's a Mason. He performed a sexual satanic ritual on the selection of choice. Only demons like to fuck with the mother's children. So why would this motherfucker do such a thing? See, once you realize that this nigga did a perverted demonic sexual ritual act, now you want to know why. It's because his reputation, money, and worldly riches was his base for reasons of personal value. Satan said, I'm better because you created me of fire and him of clay. This is chapter 7, verse number 12. See, the devil, or Satan, thought that he was better based off of something superficial. This is the first racist. So Polight, right, his base for reasons of personal value was his riches, his reputation. The niggas in Hollywood, he's big now. So at that point, when God commanded the devil to bow down to Adam, he used the superficial, limited things to base his reason of personal value, like Polight. Why would Polight select the daughter of a woman he used to fuck, the mother, to get drunk? And you are a celebrity. It's because you're performing a demonic ritual, Polight. You're a Satanist, Polight, and you used your imagery, your riches, and your reputation as a means to trick them. You thought you were bigger than God, Polight. You thought you was the big one.
And later awoke while defendant Noack was forcibly trying to make her throw up by pushing his fingers in her mouth and down her throat. Defendant Noack then took victim TS to her mother's hotel, Fontainebleau Hotel, 4441 Collins Avenue, Miami Beach, where Miss Arocho noticed that victim TS was severely intoxicated and possibly under the influence of an unknown drug. And victim TS had severe swelling on her mouth, lips area. Defendant Noack told Miss Arocho not to call police, because if she did, she could ruin his career, quote unquote. Was transported to Roxy Bolton Rape Treatment Center. And you know, if you didn't watch a lot of these movies, a lot of these CSI shows or read crime books, once you go to the hospital, if they don't have a treatment center there, they will transport you to a rape treatment center at 11 Northwest 12th Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33136, where all her clothes were collected.
Everything is collected at the rape center. They do a whole thorough, detailed investigation.
Yeah, RGY, at this point, the case is already adjourned because the forensic science is just additional evidence. There's already enough evidence by the testimony of the young woman. The fact that Polight said, "Don't tell the police because it'll ruin my reputation," is enough evidence that Polight did these things. Polight is deemed by Moorish law a sexual deviant, a sexual offender, not a rapist. He didn't rape her because she participated in the molestation. You know, she was basically molested, perverted, and she allowed it. And that's only because of the lack of behavioral science education, sexual education that she lacked as an adolescent, growing up as a young child, from her biological father who wasn't there and her mother who was probably suffering from some type of behavioral science issues herself, as many black folks are suffering from. So we're looking at dysfunctionalism in the family, and we have a human devil taking advantage of the dysfunction by doing a sexual deviant act. So what is the judgment? You have to condemn openly, publicly, this sexual deviant. This is a human devil who is running around. Many of these motherfuckers are existing today in the ghettos, and you gotta call them out. You gotta call them out, and you gotta save your young. I recommend 23 to be the age of choice for marriage, because a lot of these youngsters today are growing up without any proper education in behavioral science and sexual education. So they're already being perverted by the motherfuckers like Polight. So I settled this case, and so it is.